Hi everybody, good to see you guys again. My name is Leong from law firm Lee and Wong. Today I would like to share a topic about bankruptcy. How much do you guys know about bankruptcy? First of all, how do you get yourself into bankruptcy? As a layman, normally you hear people talking, no money to pay somebody, no money to service installment, 100% it is all about monetary. In the technical part, doesn't matter the debtor, the bank, this is the two major person will file a bankruptcy towards a person. First, you have to file a writ summons towards a person. Writ summons is like a sue you sue people. Then once you won the writ summons already, then the next part is execution. So execution part, there is plenty of action that you can choose, like freeze the person account, it's called garnishing. Then you can file WSS, writ of sales and seizure, means you Leong the person's house punya inventory. Then one of it is bankruptcy. So one of the execution is called bankruptcy. Lawyer will file a bankruptcy towards the debtor. Let's say the debtor unable to repay whatever it is written in the writ summons, then of course it is granted. Court will give an order and bankrupt the person. Then the bankruptcy will be filed at the Jabatan Insolvency. So this is how a person get him or herself to bankruptcy. What is the threshold for this year and next year? There is changes. So for this year, the threshold is 100,000. The debt must be more than 100,000. Only you can proceed with this bankruptcy execution. For next year, they increase the threshold already. Government actually do not want so many bankruptcy people lingering around. So they increase the threshold to 200,000. So next year, 2024, the threshold is 200,000. What will happen if, let's say, you got yourself into bankruptcy? You cannot sign any agreement, means you cannot buy any house, you cannot buy any car, you cannot become a director of the company. Okay, this is pretty arguable because I'm sure that you guys will give example of people going overseas, but the basis is actually you shouldn't and you cannot travel overseas. So all the cases that you see bankruptcy going overseas, they have to specially apply to their DG, the person in charge of your file in Jabatan Insolvency, travel overseas. So it's like special exemption for you to travel overseas. For example, for what reason? I'm sure you guys heard before, somebody going to Singapore to visit their children for medical purposes. Maybe they have to fly overseas. Normally to visit somebody which is in a critical state or any reasonable, valid reason to go overseas. Okay, so now I'm speaking how you get yourself into bankruptcy, then what you cannot do. The next thing, how you discharge yourself. Discharging from bankruptcy, you have to go to the Jabatan Insolvency, meet the officer. Then not necessarily you have to repay all of the amount. So they have certain amount that you repay. Let's say your debt is 100,000, maybe you repay until left 30,000, then you discuss with the officers whether they allow you to discharge or not. That is number one. Number two is whether person that sue you or the company that sue you give you consent to discharge. Because sometimes, right, when the plaintiff sue you, win the case already, let's say 100,000. If let's say you return 50,000, 60,000, 70,000, if not all the creditor want the debtor to repay full, maybe they pay 70% or 80%, say, okay never mind since sincere enough to pay me one lump sum. It depends on the negotiation. Creditor sometimes will give consent to the debtor, say, okay, and tell Jabatan Insolvency, okay, no problem, the debtor pay 80%, then you can discharge debtor already. So this is one of the methods. You are discharged from as a bankruptcy. After that, you can become a normal person, buy a house, enter into agreement, you can do whatever you can do in as a Malaysian citizen. How bankruptcy related to real estate? So for example, husband and wife. Husband get himself into a bankruptcy. So will the house, will the property they are staying in will be Leong by the bank? The answer is no. If let's say the wife continue to service the installment, the bank have no right to Leong the property. So the wife continues service, then pay until it is free from encumbrances. There is no loan ready. But if let's say one day the wife were to sell the property, then the money half will go to the Jabatan Insolvency, half will go to the wife. Okay, that is scenario number one. Scenario number two, husband and wife, still the husband get into bankruptcy. For example, get into bankruptcy, the wife pula never pay the installment. Then of course, they will default in their installment. Then the next thing is the bank will sue the owner. If let's say they are unable to pay the installment, they sue the owner, then the property will be Leong. If let's say there is excess fund, half will go to the Jabatan Insolvency, half will go to the wife. But if let's say there is no excess fund, then of course they won't get any money lah. If let's say the property is fully paid, as long as it's half share, then Jabatan Insolvency cannot do anything. But if let's say solely husband own the property only, means SPA A, loan A, 100% is owned by the bankruptcy only, then of course Jabatan Insolvency can take place and lay along the property law if let's say there is no loan. If let's say the SMP, the property is owned by the bankruptcy only, the first creditor definitely is bank. Bank will lay along the property first to recover any debt. That is the reason why title is charged to the bank. Okay, that's all for today's topic about bankruptcy. If let's say you want to know furthermore about bankruptcy or anything related to conveyancing litigation, you can get my number at the description. Thank you very much.